So let's just face it, any new initiative, any new startup, any new personal transformation effort is most likely going to fail. So today I'm talking about in case of emergency, what to do when your personal transformation effort is about ready to fail. So every entrepreneur all hears the same statistics from everybody. And that statistic is that around 90% of startups are going to fail. Yet the entrepreneur dives in anyway, knowing full well that the likelihood of failure is very likely. I think the same thing is in personal transformation. It is highly likely that we will engage in a personal transformation effort and discover that we will fail. So we will start a new weight loss program, a new exercise program, a new whatever it is, and the odds of us having success are very low. But I don't think it has to be that way entirely. I think we can overcome some of those reasons for failure by implementing a couple of important procedures. I think one of them is that you just have to start smaller. You have to start small so that you can increase the likelihood of adoption and success. But there's another thought that I had today, which is we need to understand and predict what the most likely cause of our failure is, and then have an in case of emergency button ready to go. The in case of emergency button is kind of like, what am I going to do when that most likely thing is going to occur that will cause my failure? Now, I have a lot of ambition and a lot of energy when it comes to making something work. So I know myself, I know that I will plow through problems. But there's one thing that gets me every time, and that is my lack of enthusiasm of the new initiative I kicked off. Over time, I become less enthused about it. And when that happens, that is the most likely cause of my failure. Other things I can fight through and figure out, but that one thing always kills me. So I have to have in my business life and in my personal life an emergency button ready to go when I feel that enthusiasm wane. In business, for example, I like to launch new business initiatives to accomplish some major objective or to get the team rolling on something new. And so oftentimes I'll come up with this project or plan to do so. But I've noticed that over time, especially after a couple of months, the team will wane in their enthusiasm. Usually not because they don't want to do it, but usually because they run into problems or issues that get in their way, or obstacles or anomalies that don't fit the paradigm. And so they're confused and concerned and worried about various things, and that causes their enthusiasm to kind of fall apart. So what I usually like to do is plan ahead of time for some sort of retreat or some sort of way to pull them out of their existing environment, get them to do something different, and do what people refer to as a strategic pause. But you have to pull them out of the environment, get them into a meeting where they can speak openly and freely, and just hash through the challenges, the obstacles they face, the questions that have come up. You may not have all the answers, but that doesn't matter. By giving an opportunity for people to voice their frustrations and work through them, then you ultimately help them rebuild that initial enthusiasm that might have been there when you started the initiative. So in my case, that's my emergency button. When I feel that waning, I plan some way to get away and talk about it so we can get through the obstacles that are on our way. Personally, when I feel myself starting to wane, like my enthusiasm to accomplish something starts to fall apart in a personal way, I implement fasting. So fasting is a great way to shock my brain and body back into action, right? So if I feel myself slowly start, like for example, I know I'm in trouble when I wake up in the morning and I fall to temptation and I eat something I shouldn't, or go buy a donut or whatever it is, right? That I know that it's starting to wane. It's like, oops, it's not good. Something's wrong. So that's time to hit the emergency button, right? And when I do that, I decide to start fasting. And then what happens is I don't have to fast for very long, but just that simple act shocks me back into enthusiasm, or gets my enthusiasm back. And so it allows me to refocus, gain clarity of mind, get my motivation back, or at least my inspiration to stay focused. So I would, you could have, I wonder what your in case of emergency buttons are. I've heard lots of creative ideas that people come up with. I just think it's important to have one. And maybe different ones depending on the situation. But I think this is a part of the what if thinking that we need to have when implementing anything new. So I encourage you to try it, figure out what it is you're going to do when you start to wane in enthusiasm and confidence, and hopefully you can benefit from that. Thank you.